right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Josh, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Chris Mueller at 93.7 The Fan Cam in a matter of moments, and we're taking your phone calls tonight at 412-575-2600 is the number. A lot to talk about. The Buccos lost 9-0 yesterday, in action right now, winning 1-0. And hopefully Paul Skenes, he could do what he didn't do last time and maybe stop this losing streak. I know it's only one game, but still, you could put a halt to it. Yesterday's game was an absolute disaster. Just goes to show you they need bullpen help. And I don't know where the hitting was yesterday, but yeah, they're up 1-0. These West Coast games I hate because they're late games and they're on during when we're doing this show, so we don't get a lot of Pirates phone calls when we can't watch the game.
I know, Rich. You got Bucco fever.
I do.
And they're making you work. Instead of just letting you stay home from school while you have Bucco fever, they are making you talk to your old pal Mulsey, and I didn't even wear a logo today.
It's Thursday.
Thursday
is your logo day. Today's Wednesday. I give you a pass on that.
Listen, Rich, I should have anticipated that you'd be upset for the exact reasons you laid out and thrown an extra logo at the proceedings to try to help out here. I will try for the next 25 minutes, however, to do my part.
Well, no Gulf weather right now. Hopefully we get that coming up soon. Ray Petland said there's some sun in the future here coming up, so hopefully it starts tomorrow. I don't know. I'll have to watch the weather when we do sports. But
Richie, I'll tell you this. That's the good thing about running the half marathon and having the old left knee just be a little balky, is that the weather hasn't been good enough for me to even care that I would probably be sore playing golf right now. So by the time I'm supposed to play Saturday morning out at Champion Lakes, hopefully the leg has loosened up a little bit, and then we're all good to go.
Is that the Big Pit golf event that you're playing in? That's nice.
Yes.
Have fun. That's a great track.
I will be a celebrity in one of those groups. I have still never played that course, so I am crossing another one off the old list.
Number 13 is one of my favorite holes. It's a weird dog leg right and left. It's you got to remember number 13. You got to hit a good tee shot, but it can't be too good because it can bounce into the woods to the left. Anyways.
Well, no one worries about my tee shots being too good, Rich.
Let's get to some sports news. And look, you can scan that QR code on the right-hand corner of your screen for a Penn West University question tonight. Would you bring Evgeni Malkin back for one more year? I always said yes. Right now, it seems like our viewers are saying yes to 60%. Depends on money. I'm in the depends on money category. I know he made 6.1 last year. Is that the number you would bring him back this year? I think it's more of like $4 to $5 million. If you're asking me where I'd want him, where I'd feel comfortable. But the one good thing is the Penguins now, with the salary cap going up to 104, they have the most money that they can spend, $46 million or $46.5 million right now. So they could go out and get some big-name guys and spend some of this money.
I mean, the free agent class, the unrestricted class is grim. They could try to do some sort of thing where Dallas signs Jason Robertson, but they do the old sign with the clear intent to trade him to the Penguins. They could work something out there where that's probably the way Dallas gets the most for Jason Robertson if they decide to move on from him. But as far as unrestricted guys, it's just not a lot of big names out there. If I were Evgeni Malkin, I'd say just pay me $6.1 million again. He was 98th among forwards in cap hit or average annual value, really whatever you want to look at last year at 6.1. Valeri Nichushkin was ahead of him at 97. He had, I think, 49 points in 72 games for the Avalanche. And then behind him at 99th on the list was Andre Palat. You want to know how many points Andre Palat had making $100,000 less than Malkin?
I'm sure you're going to tell me.
15 in 80 games. So if the Penguins ask Evgeni Malkin to take a haircut here of any kind, if they even offer him any kind of contract, that would be a sign to me that they're trying to nudge him out the door and make him be the one to say, yeah, I don't want to play for that. That's an insult. I also think, Rich, that Kyle Dubas is wedded to the plan that he probably planned on setting in motion midway through this season and not after. And I honestly don't think that plan in his mind involves Evgeni Malkin being a Pittsburgh Penguin anymore. So I'm actually pretty pessimistic for those of you who want Malkin back, and I count myself in that group. I'm pretty pessimistic as to how this is all going to play out.
Didn't he allude to it at the beginning of the year? I mean, and they put all those media posters and tweets and social media about the big three, 20 years. I think this is the end of the line for the big three. I mean, I know Chris Letang is still under contract, but Malkin is the one guy. But you're comfortable with 6.1. That's basically what you said. I don't know if I am. I kind of want a change. I understand that he's a point-per-game guy, and he outproduced. You gave me some great examples of what he did with other guys in his category. So, the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Who's he blocking, Rich?
He's not blocking anyone, and I'm with you on that. And that was one of the points why I think I would bring him back, because there's no one young coming up that is going to take that number 2
money,
line.
Right?
I would, only because he's 40. I mean, you're going to get you have to prepare for injuries, right? You have to prepare for his anger issues, and maybe. I mean,
they've always dealt with that.
For a couple
those
games.
Anger issues get talked about. Those anger issues are those he flies off the handle in a game and takes a bad penalty. Did that cost them any games in the Flyers series?
It didn't. No, it didn't.
I mean, what it sounds like is if I were Kyle Dubas, I'd be trying to make some of the same points you're making. I honestly believe that the Penguins general manager has moved on from Evgeni Malkin in his mind. If Chris Letang didn't have a contract that was much harder to move unless Chris Letang really wanted to be out of here, I think they would have moved on from him. I think the big three was always a nice marketing tool, and it was really the big three. It was really the big two plus Chris Letang, who was never on the level of those other guys. No offense to him. Very good defenseman.
I agree.
The other two guys are Hart Trophy winners. In the end, though, Rich, I think what we're going to see is the real truth of this era is that it was always the big one. And the big one was number 87. And I think he's going to be the last man standing at the end of all of this. And it was probably always going to go that way.
All right, we got to take a break. Give us a call, 412-575-2600 is the number. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. This is our Xfinity Tweet of the Night. ESPN Insights here. After a brutal opening day start, Paul Skenes has settled back into ace form. In fact, settling back into ace form, he has a no-hitter, Chris, through 4 innings right now. Maybe my question to you is, at what point do the players start to leave him alone? Is that like a 7th or 8th inning thing, or does it start to creep in the 5th inning when guys are going to start to move away from him in the dugout?
If I were a player, I would probably be conscious of it by the 5th inning. For a no-hitter, I know you're still supposed to move away, but to me now it's perfect game or bust.
It is actually a perfect game going through 4 innings too. So I mean,
so chances are, how many times they've had now a perfect game through at least 4 innings? Him twice. The bullpen game was a perfect game. Into the 6 2/3, just like his other perfect game was. I'd say at the start of the 5th inning, if you go 4 perfect, maybe 5 perfect for sure. Of course, none of that actually matters. It's all superstition. There's no such thing as jinxes unless Pony does it. If it's a perfect game, though, it's the rare situation where Don Kelly might again, if this goes longer into the night, be faced with a very tough decision. It's so funny to say this, but say he has a no-hitter, but he walks a guy or something like that. It'll be easy to lift him if he's at 90 pitches after 7 innings. If he has a perfect game at 90 pitches after 7 innings, then you are in a much tougher spot if you're the manager.
Well, 43 pitches right now. At what point do you tax him? I mean, at 9th inning, and heading into the 9th, he has 100 pitches. Do you send him back out there?
At 100, I still would. 95's easy. 100's pretty much right on the line for me. He's thrown 110 plus, 120 plus in college, but it's actually kind of funny that he's through 4 or whatever and he's perfect with 43 pitches because he had a lengthy battle with Ketel Marte as the second hitter of the game that I thought was going to run the pitch count up way too high. So he's had some efficient innings since, but I think between 95 and 100, you're safe to send him out for a 9th inning. It gets to 105, then you do start to wonder. But at that point, you got to pry the player off the mound, I think. It's a perfect game. There have only been, 24, 25 of them in the history of the sport.
Which leads right into one of our tweets here. Jace tweeted us, is Dennis Santana in danger of losing the closer spot? His ERA has ballooned to over 4 right now. I don't know, but I'd get
don't think he's in
Ramirez out
danger of it.
I'd get Ramirez out of one of the spots.
Well, I thought Pony made a good point today about Ramirez, who I've gone to the mat for and said I think that guy's actually having a pretty good year up until last night. And I thought Pony would jump at the chance to say, yeah, Mulsey, what about that one? And then he brought up a good point. You have to get the guy up in the first inning because Chandler's struggling so much. Then he sits back down, and then you get him back up again and put him into the game. We know relievers don't like having to get up multiple times to warm up and then sit back down in the course of one game, and that can hinder them. I do think Santana, noteworthy to me is you've got the Red Series. You're trying to finish off the sweep. You've got a guy with some power up. Gregory Soto's on the mound. It's a lefty-righty matchup. And Don Kelly rolled the dice, went with his gut, and left Soto in there. I think that was equal parts gut managing and also maybe an unsubtle message to Dennis Santana that, hey, you can't afford to go out there and stink one up again because you're going to be on a short-ish leash moving forward.
All right, back to the Evgeni Malkin topic right now. 63% want him back. I'm surprised by that. It seems like everyone's ready to move on, just like it seems like a lot of fans are ready to move on from Aaron Rodgers. You know, I guess he did have a good year at 39, a point per game. 6.1.
There's way more justification for bringing him back than there is Rodgers, and I think it's way more likely Rodgers is going to come back. The Rodgers thing, at some point, I would like somebody within the Steelers front office to realize what an absolute disgrace and embarrassment this is for them. I mean, it makes them look silly to the rest of the league. Colin Cowherd went on his show and said they're closer. They're like a more functional version of the New York Jets. In terms of how they're running things. They win more on the field, but they're kind of embarrassing. I agree with that. You are courting a player that nobody else wants. Literally. I don't think another team in the NFL wants him to be their starting quarterback. And the Steelers are just sitting here continuing to make soft statements about, oh, well, we did say we expected it to be done by now, but no big deal. Well, it'll be done by May 18th. Well, what if it's not done by May 18th? Well, don't worry. That's not that important. You know, they're just dates on the calendar. I mean, why let this guy go along willy-nilly as long as he wants doing this? You're not talking about like prime Patrick Mahomes that you're trying to convince to come back to your team, Rich.
Is it desperation? Do they look desperate? I mean, I feel like they do. I mean, I would have.
I think it's delusion.
I would have come out and I would have said to Aaron, just sign the contract and say you're a part of the team. And if you want to retire before training camp, then we pivot then. But just sign it. You don't have to come to minicamp. You don't have to come to OTAs. Your start date is whenever you want. We know you know the playbook. Just show up before training camp. Just sign the contract. I don't understand why you can't do something like that.
That sounds desperate too, but I think the word you're looking for to explain their mindset is delusional. I think they've been delusional about what he can actually provide to them from the start of this. Like, we should have known at the end of last season. We watched that playoff game. We watched that Browns game in week 18 or week 17, sorry.
Yeah.
We saw like what the bad looked like, and it's very unlikely that it gets better this year. I know a lot of people, the people I have heard from Rich that say, oh no, he can still win. Or, oh, look at all the things they've done to make their team better. Well, they brought in a new coaching staff. We don't even know if he likes McCarthy that much. They might talk on the phone, but there's some ill history there. They brought in Michael Pittman. I think that's a good move. Maybe their offensive line looks better, but I just, again, find it to be pretty delusional if the Steelers are sitting there thinking this guy is going to lead us back to the promised land and win a playoff game or two. I think they're crazy, frankly. I don't think there's even a chance that happens.
Look, the guy has a cannon. I watched him every pregame throw 70-plus yards during warm-ups with no problem. But he's a year older, a year less mobile, a year not as fast.
What good is it? What good's the cannon if you don't want to stand in to make the deep throws, Rich?
Yeah, and that's what I was getting to. I'm ready to move on. I think a lot of people here are ready to move on. I'm sure the Steelers want to move on, but they have no option right now. And I don't know if they're really.
Wait a minute.
Well,
what do you mean?
Are they really
what do you
sold
mean?
on Will Howard? I know they say all the right things, but if you're saying all the right things, just go into the season with, hey, this is my guy. You know, we're going to go with him.
I don't understand what the problem is with saying to Mason Rudolph, you're the starter, but buddy, you're a veteran. You kind of know the score here. Unless you start out 6-0, you're probably getting yanked after 2 weeks. And then whoever you decide of Aller or Will Howard is more capable of being the starter and getting the real audition, you put them in. And I think that would be Drew Aller, personally. Like, you say, what other options do they have? Well, they have plenty. Aaron Rodgers is not really that appealing of an option. All that does is just say we're not serious about finding out what any of these young quarterbacks on the roster can do. We're going to let the old guy do this again. That is such a dead-end strategy, and I'm pretty frustrated as an observer that they keep seeming to be married and wedded to it.
And if they think this 27 quarterback class is so good, you would think, hey, let's see what we have in these young guys. Worst case scenario, we win 3 or 4 games. We are bad. We're going to have a top 5 pick.
See, Rich, I agree with you. I think a lot of fans, to one degree or another, can get on board with that. The person who can, or the people who can't, are Art Rooney, maybe Omar Khan, maybe Mike McCarthy. Like, there is still this ultimate win now. Gotta be decent. Gotta be around the NFL league average. And I think that's just going to absolutely hinder and hurt them for years to come until they ditch that premise.
Yeah, and not many 40-plus-year-old quarterbacks have success in the NFL. We got to take a break. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Coverage. Walsh along with Chris Mueller. And Chris, someone's already blaming us for jinxing Paul Skenes because he gave up 2 hits. So too early to talk about it, they said. I responded that Pony must have tweeted something because we weren't the jinxes.
I don't know. I didn't check to see if he did tweet something. He was going to do it in all caps. I mean, jinxes, again, aren't real unless he's the one doing them.
Yeah.
In which case, then they are very real and almost legally binding.
Where are you with, if Aaron Rodgers comes back, they're a 10-win team, we're assuming, right? Are they a 10-win team with, are they a 10-win team with Mason Rudolph? Are they a 10-win team with one of these other guys?
No, but I think the notion that they are definitely going to be a 10-win team with Aaron Rodgers is rooted in, what, blind faith? The list of guys who have gone from their year 42 to year 43 and still been a good quarterback is one, Tom Brady. And nothing Aaron Rodgers has done in this 1 year with the Steelers, for the blink there, suggests that he is Tom Brady 2.0. I just don't think you're looking at a guy who's having some sort of mid-40s renaissance here, Rich, and that's
he has better weapons. He has better receivers.
Again, does he want to stand in the pocket? Does he want to take hits? Does he want to play a fundamentally different game than he did last year? I doubt it.
No, but he wants to hold out, and he's going to continue to do so and make us talk about him every single day until
we don't have to.
We don't have to.
We don't have to, but we will.
We won't tomorrow.
But
how about that?
We will.
All right, we got to go. See you on KDKA-TV
logos
coming up in a couple minutes.